Hey, what's up, y'all? It's the Mad Hatter logging back in, reporting live from the event horizon. And this go around, I want to talk about Amy Schumer. Now, Amy Schumer, she had the Amy Schumer show or whatever the fuck it was called on Comedy Central. Decent show. I like her as a comedian. She has some really good stuff out there. I really like the comedians that she hangs around. And I was really, I really liked how she was, she had like a decent relationship with Patrice O'Neal, rest in peace, who was one of my favorite comedians of all time. But let's go ahead and get into this interview right quick. So she has an interview with the BBC, not that BBC, but the British Broadcasting Network. And she details a lot of intimate things, in all different types of senses of the word. So let me go ahead and talk about a little bit of a couple of things that they talked about in that interview. One of the things they talk about is the interviewer was saying that it's up to women to smooth out social awkwardness. Now, I haven't seen that in my experience. If you guys have come across that, definitely let me know, especially women. But usually, from my experience, women are usually the ones that make it very awkward. They make everything very awkward. And it's like I can't like be mean and be like, that was dumb. Like why the fuck did you say that shit? That shit was stupid. Because I don't want to be mean to a chick, but maybe I should start just fucking doing that, Equality, treating everybody like equals, right? But it's usually up to the dude, like, usually, like, in a public place, like, a woman will say something really goofy, and it's up to the dude to be like, like, honey, like, just chill. Especially, like, in an intellectual conversation with a lot of guys, I tend to, when women are involved, they don't add to that intellectualism. Anyway, the specific example that they talk about social awkwardness is weddings. Now, my thing is, like, how can you blame dudes for making things awkward at weddings? Like, weddings are made for women by women. It's like FUBU, right? Like, that's your shit. If you don't like the social awkwardness that entails a wedding, stop doing fucking weddings. Stop going to weddings. No one's forcing you to go to a fucking wedding. And then the interviewer also talks about when women accept awards that they have to apologize. Like, and Amy Schumer says, well, that's because so many people hate women. Now, on face value, she's just saying that like women just hate women. It's almost like women, they just hate, people hate women because we're women. Like, it's like they hate us because they ain't us. It's not really about that. It's about women who want to have their cake and eat it too. Like women who want freedom, but also want protection from failure, want safe spaces and shit like that in liberal schools. And it's also okay to sexualize men, but not the other way around. And women who run the dating game, but then blame men for their bad dating choices. Like women are the choosers when it comes to relationships, but yet time after time I see women blaming men for the choices that they make, right? And then like one of the most important parts about this interview was, the conversation about Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. She goes on to say that, people who criticize Hillary are uninformed. And she was like, people tend to like latch on to one piece of information and, and they extrapolate that. And she was saying like, people talk about, oh, if Hillary lied on emails, what else is she going to lie about? Like, Amy, that's a good argument. Like, if Hillary is willing to lie about the small things that if Hillary is willing to lie about things that she thinks are small, then she's willing to lie about the bigger things when the stakes are higher. So that's a real concern that people have. And then my thing is like, you haven't been like, you're in Hollywood, you're supposed to be like in this all these liberal, places, and you haven't been around people who think differently than you. That says more about you than anybody else. And also the last point, or one of the last points about that is just because Trump sucks, she makes a lot of good points about why Trump is an idiot. But just because Trump sucks does not mean that Hillary Clinton is good by default. And please stop with all this like, if Trump wins, I'm fucking moving to another country. Stop that shit, man. Deal with the shit in your country. Like, you can't always win. You can't always win in life. But that goes to some of the privilege that women like Amy Schumer have. Like, That's privilege. It's like, oh, if I lose, I'm going somewhere else. Because a lot of people, a lot of women, first off, don't really experience losing. And then to be able to be privileged enough where if you don't have everything go your way, that you can just move to another country like Spain, really? Like, what the fuck? Stop that shit. Deal with shit in your country, man the fuck up, and deal with it. Then they go on to talk about sex. I don't want to get too much into this because it's very long. But she talks about women shouldn't feel like they have to owe men anything, like especially sex, is what we're talking about, right? So she talks about how she left this dude. She was first off, she was really into this guy. Like she was visiting, I think Colorado. She was in the mountains. This guy was very outdoorsy. And then she moved to New York City, and the guy came to visit her, but she was like, "Oh, I didn't like the guy anymore. He was gross all of a sudden." Like what? Like that's all it takes for a woman to not be into you now is just like you just moved to a different city and all of a sudden that's it. Like the guy that you were into and you were lusting over is just like a piece of shit now. So she was like, yeah, I kind of felt like I should owe him sex, but now I would never do that. But it's like, it depends on what he did for you and what you did for him. Like, if he did things for you, like we all have things in a relationship as men and women that we get out of it. Men have something that they give up, and women have something that they give up. So if you're willing to like not, again, I talked about this before. If you're willing to stop having sex with a dude, but you're still taking all the stuff from him, like gifts from him, dinners from him, then you're fucked up. Um, for instance, like if I'm letting a woman stay at my place, like it depends on like if we had like a previous relationship, a lot of other factors obviously, but if a woman's staying at my place for however long and she's not paying, I expect her to pay in other ways, probably in the form of cookies, right? And don't act like a woman never owes. Women don't always owe, but don't act like they never owe either. So, by that token, you can also say that dudes don't owe women a compliment. We don't owe you taking it easy. We don't owe women being nice. We don't owe women being chivalrous, buying you dinner, or even making sure you come when we fuck you. How about this rule? How about you just be nice to the person you're intimate with and you try to make it as reciprocal as possible or as equal as possible? You give me this, I give you that, try to make it equal. How about that? Instead of just being like, I'm not giving up anything. What the fuck? That's not a relationship then. Anyway, I'm going to leave that there. Let me know what you guys think. If you like this, go ahead and subscribe. If you don't like it, give it a thumbs down. If you like it, give it a thumbs up. And I'll see you guys next time.